Have you ever seen the entire vibe of an interaction just flip out of nowhere? Today, we're going to break down exactly what happens when a woman senses that a man is losing interest, because, really, it's all about a massive shift in power.
And this right here, this quote gets straight to the heart of it. This isn't some random emotional thing that happens. No, the source material suggests it's a deep psychological trigger. When your attention, which maybe she even took for granted, just suddenly vanishes, it yanks her out of a place of comfort and drops her right into a world of uncertainty and vulnerability.
So to really get this, we have to talk about the core concept here, the power dynamic. You can think of it like this invisible scale of desire and control that exists in literally any relationship. When you pull your interest back, you're not just being distant, you are fundamentally tipping that scale. You're changing the entire game.
Okay, so that brings us to the very first phase of her reaction, re-engagement. The moment she feels that empty space where your attention used to be, her first instinct, almost always, is to try and close that gap, fast.
Just look at this slide. The change in her behavior, it's like night and day, right? On the left, that's her when your interest was a sure thing. Maybe she was a little complacent, putting in less effort, but on the right, after you've pulled back, suddenly she's attentive, she's proactive. The difference is huge, and it's a direct result of that power dynamic shifting. So what does this actually look like? Well, the source points to these super specific signs. All of a sudden, she's the one sending that first text. She's asking about your hobbies, things she never cared about before. You might notice she's putting a little extra effort into her appearance. These aren't accidents. They're very intentional moves designed to get your attention right back where it was, on her. All right, so she's putting in all this new effort. How are you supposed to respond? The source is crystal clear on this. Remain steady. Now, it's super tempting to reward all this new enthusiasm, right? But if you do that, you can instantly flip the power dynamic right back to where it started. The advice is to respond, be confident, but whatever you do, don't overinvest. Now, let's say her first few attempts to rekindle things don't quite work. What happens next? Well, things get a little more complicated. This is where we enter phase 2, tests, games, and a little bit of chaos. This is where she really starts to test your strength, sometimes by throwing things into disarray just to see if you'll crack.
And oh, trust me, they will come. These tests are basically her way of figuring out if this new detached you is the real deal, or if it's just some act. She's probing, looking for emotional strength and self-control. She wants to see if you're truly in charge of your own reality, your own frame. How you handle this, it's everything.
So what kind of tests are we talking about here? Well, here are the classics. First, she might go cold and distant, basically mirroring you to see if you'll panic and chase. Second, the jealousy play, mentioning other guys, posting certain photos. Third, she might start pushing your boundaries, getting a little demanding or critical, trying to pull you into an argument. And finally, you get the mixed signals, hot one day, cold the next, just to keep you totally confused.
This quote from the source just nails the whole point of this phase. Passing these tests isn't about winning some fight. It's about showing that your internal sense of self, your self-worth, is completely solid. It's not gonna shake. That resistance from her is actually your opportunity to show strength. So, what's the playbook for this? It all comes down to emotional discipline. You gotta stay composed. Do not react to her provocations. If she pulls back, you don't lean in. If she dangles that jealousy bait, you act like you didn't even see it. And, this is a big one, stop over-explaining yourself. Keep it cool. Keep it concise. And that brings us to the final phase, dominance and pursuit. This is what happens when she truly starts to fear she's lost you for good. Her tactics can get way more intense as she makes one last big push to get control back. But if you handle this right, this phase leads directly to her actively pursuing you. This slide lays it out perfectly. It's a simple cheat sheet. If she becomes dismissive or critical, your response is calm indifference. If she tries to control the communication, you just prioritize your own time. When her texts and calls start blowing up, you stay measured, you don't jump to reply. And if suddenly her schedule is wide open for you, you remain selective. She has to earn that time. And here's the absolute key point you need to get. When she starts to pursue you, and I mean really pursue you, it's not a fluke. It's the ultimate confirmation that the power dynamic has completely shifted in your favor. It's a direct result of you consistently showing high value and unshakable self-respect. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? You might think this whole process is about her reactions, her tests, her pursuit, but it's not.
The source material is really clear that this is all about your internal mindset, your resolve.
Honestly, I think this might be the most important slide in this whole breakdown. This strategy, it's not about playing mind games or being manipulative. It's a reframe. It's about finally behaving in a way that actually reflects genuine self-worth.
So let's just boil it all down to these core principles. A high-value man is focused on his own purpose. He has emotional discipline. He doesn't get baited into reacting impulsively. He understands that his attention is valuable and it has to be earned. And above all, he is grounded and consistent.
And that leads us to the final thought I want to leave you with. In all your interactions, ask yourself this. Are you constantly reacting to her emotional state, living inside her frame? Or are you the one building your own reality based on your purpose and your self-worth? The answer to that question, well, it changes absolutely everything.